welcome back. I was just going to show you the results of the last few days' work. And I'd forgotten you hadn't seen the videos. Been working on the instructions. And so far, I've got these bits made up. And zip, the base made up. Ooh, shiny. That's right, it's like the chicken and the plastic gloves, which comes first, sort of. I built the base and I used the plastic gloves in the instructions with the wood polish to protect your hands from it. Then I went on to start working on the hands and the other plastic parts that need to be prepared, sanded before, and possibly glued before you paint them, and realised that therefore I needed the minute hand. Therefore I needed, rather than to take just one out and clean it, because these are all engravings, and they have a bit of soot on when you first get them and you need to clean them off, that would be the next thing to do. So then this became the first bit, because you didn't want to use dirty rubber gloves or plastic gloves with nice clean engravings, so then I had to put this one first, and then the plastic gloves would be nice and clean, then you can do that. It doesn't stop. It's a balancing act, trying to work out the most logical, sensible way of getting everything made. I've got all these lovely pieces again that are going to be incorporated. So, working on the third part, part 3 currently. I don't know how many more parts there are going to be. It's amazing, but it should be really, really enjoyable to make. You know, while you're producing the instructions, you just think, oh, how much I'd love to follow these to actually put one together. Very satisfying. It's so complicated, so I had to go back and keep re-editing and adding bits and taking more photos, but it's quite rewarding. As such, the 3 I'm working on at the moment aren't finished yet. Hopefully soon, and I'll put them up, create a new web page on my website, and also put up the videos. But that's great. And then I've started, for some strange reason, it is so strange, sales and things, I can't figure out any rhyme or reason. Several more Nempnett Thrubwells, in fact. I've only got, out of the 20 I finished a couple of weeks ago, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left, because I've got 2 more to send off, which is also very exciting. And now I've started, for some strange reason, to get loads of orders for ready-made mechanised, motorised gauges. I had one yesterday and I thought, well, I'll make up 2 while I'm at it, so I've got 1 standby, and then this morning I've got another order for 3 ready-made ones, so I'm going to put another together, just getting ready to start painting them up, putting 2 more gauges together, decorative ones. So it's all systems go. There's nothing like being busy. Excellent. Time to tidy up. There's still a bit of a space over by the freezer. Nah. Time to get on and make some more 3D motorised gauges. Let's crank up the 3D printer. I have to say, there is one area that's lovely and clean, spotless. That's because it's where I was stepping over my old printer and loads of piles of wood, and I was having to come further and further around here till I ran into that pile of cack before I could go up into the corridor of doom. So I decided when I was packing up the 20 Nempnett Thrubwells, I really did need some more space, so I tidied. Amazing. It's what you just get used to these things, just stepping over a printer. Oh, that's where I step over the printer, without ever considering I could move the printer, but I did in the end. Needs must when the devil rides, and I hoovered as well. Look at the difference. Before, after. It's lucky the hoover is just there. I think I will slowly try and move around the room. Perhaps next time I'll attempt this little area here, possibly that little area there. So many little areas to do. Never mind, must get on. I don't know how I keep managing to do this. Just the brass. Very strange. I don't know how it comes out of the nozzle and gets onto me like that. Odd. I'll have to analyse the video. It's amazing. 10 minutes later and it's dry. well, almost brassy. This is where, after the first coat, you find out if there is any dust, because you can't see it. And having hoovered it, as I've said many times, when I put everything on here, I've got the filter up there, the workshop dust filter, which after some considerable time I realised actually ended up producing clean dust-free air, which is perfect for spraying in. There's also the extractor at the back, sucking the fumes out, well, all those that are not blown all around the room by the top filter thing. So there shouldn't be any if we've hoovered it all with the brush of a hoover, but there is regularly, although this time I don't think there is. How fabulous. I'll put a second coat on, if you didn't mind. Then, here are the 2 pointers. 3, because I'm making 3, that's right. That's set nicely with no dust on either. So I'll put a second coat on them. The silver ones are absolutely fine, and as I've said in the past again, the silver paint from Plastic Coat really does take a long time to dry or set, so you don't need more than 1 coat. It seems to come out really quite thick, and 1 coat is quite enough to cover it, and then that will dry in a reasonable amount of time. If you put 2 or 3 coats on, you can expect to wait about a week or 2 before you can actually even brush it with a finger without ending up with an indelible fingerprint stamped in it. I'll get on and do this spraying. These are okay, dust free and clean, but to teach me a lesson, this one wasn't. Like I say, you can do so much. I don't care about the specs here, because this is actually the original protective film that comes with the acrylic, and which was perfect, I realise, as a mask to stop you spraying the window with paint. So I just peel off the protective film around the outside, but there was some hideous blemish. But what I found, luckily, I don't think it was on the original layer, just wiped it off gently with a scalpel, and because the paint wasn't set and I added a bit more, I think it's going to be okay. That's only after 1 coat, but it's smooth. Put another bit on and I think it's going to be fine. You can only do so much, and you damn dust will get you every time, or almost every time. And dear friends, whilst I'm making a video about making videos, might as well add another couple of top tips. Just remember, if you do use spray paint, and this is very good Plastic Coat, I always use the brass, metallic brass one for acrylic, and I've never had any problems with it. Covers really well, sets really quickly, and looks just like brass. What was I going to say? Oh yes, 2 really important things about using spray cans, spray paint, is make sure you always shake it for a minute. Even if you only sprayed it a few minutes ago, just shake it for a minute after the balls start rattling, because you really do need everything inside mixed up properly to paint correctly. And the other thing is, don't be tempted to put too much on. As you've seen, I found the best way to do it is to put it on a bit of card and spray one side at a time, turn it round, and then leave it. So you've got sort of 4 light coats, very light coats. If you put too much on, it then starts running, and then you're back to square one because it takes ages to set. You always see the runs, so you have to use your wet and dry to sand them off and then respray, and it's a pain in the backside. So I'll get on and respray this. Stop talking. And while I can't stop talking, I see the camera recording and I just have to speak on the stage. A very good thing to way of sticking things down when you spray them is a bit of blue tack, because it doesn't stick permanently, obviously, and because you usually end up with a very small bit of it, you can always peel it up afterwards, roll it together, and any paint on it just gets sort of dispersed and you can use it again. Very handy. Right, I've got all those bits, they're all set. This is after lunch. Nice the soup, thick chicken and vegetable, lovely, with a toasted roll with some butter on it. Oh, I love bread so much. Now I'm going to be very careful. Doesn't matter about touching these bits because they're fine, but the silver, like I was saying, does take ages to dry. I can feel it's still a little bit sticky, even around the ends of the prongs, the teeth. So I'm going to be very careful with these, so they can continue to dry, and I can put them together but I'm not going to touch them yet. As I said, if I touch that flat side with my finger, it'll just move the paint enough to leave a perfect imprint of my fingerprint, which for some designs may be quite a good thing, but I've never actually personally found a design that would benefit from having a fingerprint stuck in it, unless I suppose it was a police inquiry or something. Anyway, oh, I can't tell you how furious I was last night, or the night before, whenever it was. I lose track of time. I was hunched over a hot computer, as always, editing another one of the instruction videos, and I got a lovely email from Etsy. Etsy being the company who host my internet shop, the international internet shop anyway. Kindly telling me that they care about me lots enormously, and I'm one of their most favoured customers. And again, they care about me lots, and they're committed to something, this, that, or the other. You know, whenever you hear the phrase, we are committed to, you know, it's a complete and utter fabrication and lie. Could be that they've been discovered being naughty, and now they're committed to not being naughty. It's just a load of old cack, basically. And then telling me that, I appreciate my sales so much, they're going to now make me have offsite ads that they're going to pay for, which I think appear across the internet on all the different social media platforms. If anyone clicks on one of those and then makes a purchase as a result, within 30 days, and not necessarily for the product that that advert was for, 30 days, then I have to pay an extra 12% commission. Absolutely ridiculous. I looked it up on the forums, and everyone on Etsy who's had this apply to them only since May, the bright spark who runs it, thought, I know, we can screw some more money out of our clientele by charging this now, because we're not making quite enough millions from these people who are working really hard trying to sell their nice handcrafted idea, blah 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 blah. Which is such a pain. It's very, very unfair. Because now, along with their other commission, that means that for everything I sell that's due to one of these clicks, I'm going to have to pay about 30%. That's almost a third. Some people actually say it is 33%. I'm not sure, because obviously their charging system at Etsy is completely transparent, quote unquote, because they care and are committed to a third. So in effect, almost, because my profit margin, I get confused in my twilight years, my profit margin is very small. When you can see how much effort and time goes into making these things. Lot of effort, and also all the parts cost a lot because they're all good quality, and then I have them stored around until people buy stuff, which is fine, but my profit margins are low. So in effect, with this new tax being applied, I'm almost working for Etsy. They're not working for me, I'm now working for Etsy. I'm sort of an employee without any benefits. What a pain. Anyway, mustn't grumble. It just really annoys me when these huge internet companies, the giants, that basically put all the old local magazines and special magazines and things out of print, out of business, they've got you over a barrel. There's nothing you can do. I've done lots of research on alternatives to Etsy, and there are a few, but you know, they're the biggest, they're international, consequently they've got me. I have got a website shop, which was the original one I set up, that used PayPal, but unfortunately PayPal in the UK doesn't do international delivery cost postage. So you can only set up a flat fee for postage in the UK. Despite what all the PayPal advice and forums and other people say, you can't. And I contacted, while I was in the mood yesterday, I contacted technical service. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I'm hoping that this has been resolved now. So that means if on my website I say it's free delivery on any orders over £50, it means that that's fine in the UK. But then I started getting orders from people in America and Spain and France and all sorts of places, and I had to refund their money or ask them very kindly if they minded paying extra, because I couldn't afford it. You know, you send a box or package off to North America and it's £20–25 delivery. I can't afford to absorb that at all. So that was annoying, because the only reason I set up the Etsy shop was because my website shop wouldn't do it, because of PayPal. I'm going to carry on working on it, because as soon as I can find an alternative, I'll actually go and stuff it. just really annoys me, that sort of thing. Let's try and be so fair. And then you get these kind of... Anyway, I must stop and get on with building this. I do apologise for the rant, but it really got me. And then it also, I woke up at 5 o'clock, I think, thinking about it, and then couldn't get back to sleep. That was 5 o'clock in the morning, by the way. Not an afternoon nap, I wish. And I just lay awake for 2 hours, festering gently. Anyway, I did send them a very rude... Well, it was a fairly rude email, blunt and to the point, hoping that... a mass exodus of disgruntled Etsy users would bring them to their knees. I can't see that happening, but they sent me back an email saying, thank you for your highly well-considered opinions. Just wait a little while and you'll see the benefits. And oh, the other cack where they just tell you, you've missed the point, they're not ripping you off, they care about you, and you don't quite understand yet. You'll reap the benefits. I hate corporate jargon. It drives me round the bend. Just like all the insurance companies telling you how fun insurance is, how much you'd love to be ripped off because of your loyalty for another year. You know, I really must stop and get on with this. I could rant on for ages. I'll wait till I take the dog for a walk and bore some other dog walker with it all again. Oh, and to this morning's film, anyway, or this afternoon's, is 10 Cloverfield Lane. With John Goodman. Is it Goodman? Yeah. You get... I mean, John Goodman's obviously a comedy actor. Can't you just focus? I think he's getting on my nerves. When you get a good quality comedy actor playing a not funny role, whatever the word is, they can be really good. He's very good in this. And also it reminds me of Robin Williams. Dear Robin Williams, who was brilliant in 1 Hour Photo and Insomnia. Really good films. I suppose you could say funny gone creepy. Ha! In your face, dust. So that's good. I've got the little jewels stuck into these. There's 2 on the ones that I make, because I just thought, why not add 2? There's another little place they can go. I've got the 3 motors ready to assemble. It's all very enjoyable. Bit of batch production. Everything in order and arranged step by step in a nice sequence. Every story should have a lovely ending, well, at least the ones that I make. And here's the lovely ending to the video. Well, a 3D printer's been printing for 3 hours 32. Well, I think I'm finally getting the hang of this zooming business. As you can see, it's it's done 63% actually off the top of my head. Another one of the gauge kit enclosures, so that's good. I've got the kits finished, the assembled ones that are no longer kits actually, and the front's ready to assemble, and it doesn't matter about all you bits of dust, because you're in the middle on a sticky label. Yeah, so that's good. I also recently improved the information on my website to show how to wire it up, because the kit, or the ready-made version, to come with one of these delightful AA battery holders. Is it AA? I can't remember. What is it? So yeah, that's AA. Which has got a built-in switch, which is handy, Harry. So you can switch it on and off. That just connects up. Now I started off, these motors run on an incredibly small amount of electricity, something like, well, it's under 10 milliamps. It's very, very small amount. So I've had one running for, I think it's 5 days or something, and it was still running on 2 AA batteries. It just goes on for ages because they draw such little current. Alternatively, if you've got a power supply you have in mind that already exists, I can provide them with one of these lovely, again, delightful voltage regulators in effect, which will take between 12 volts, 4.5 volts, or 4.5 volts and 12 volts, and to regulate it down to 3.3 volts, which will run the motor. And they also come with a small LED, which could be employed anyway. So there are the 2 alternatives. Now, having finished this, the next part of the never-ending story is to get on with the, what are they called? Instructions. And what I realised was, as well as you know, having done all this and illustrated, photographed it and all that, I hadn't really made repeated references to what people are actually making. So for example, here's the mercury compensated pendulum off a finished clock, and here are the bits, the part of the kit that I've just been creating the instructions for is made up of. But I didn't actually show any photos of this bit, so I think the first job after doing this video is to add a load of photos, close-ups, perhaps even video, related just at the beginning of each section, relating to what you're going to make, what it's going to look like, just to put it into context. So I'll get on with that. Thank you very much for watching, if you still are. Hopefully there will be some instructions for the chronograph fairly soon, although I'm not sure when the kit version will be ready. If you want to purchase a ready-made one, I still have, I think, 3 from the last batch, and as soon as I get the instructions made, I will start working on putting some of these kits together, which is very exciting. And then you too can have the joy of placing these lovely teardrop, as I think I'll poetically call them, numbers within the engraved dial. I was doing that, and I've mentioned this before, I know, I was doing that while I was assembling these 10, and I just thought, I love doing this. I could spend many a happy hour whiling away the hours sticking these on. I thought other people might like to do that. That's what prompted the idea for the kit. Fabulous. Thanks again. I really must stop talking. See you hopefully next time.